What's up, guys? So I'm gonna try doing deck techs, I guess, and the first one we'll start with is my Akiri Voltron, in air quotes, deck, and it's basically an artifact combo deck that uses Akiri's innate buffing ability to also act as a Voltron shell, and because of that we get to run both Voltron's like hyper aggressive game plan with a like combo finisher that you might see more traditionally in a CDH list. So we're gonna start this deck tech off with our tutors, and we run the three like no-brainer ones for our colors: Idyllic, Enlightened, and I think it's Gamble, which are all just pretty good staples in these two colors, and since we're only playing these two colors, we kind of need all the tutoring we can get. We also run Weathered Wayfarer, which right now the mana base isn't finalized, but once it is, it's going to allow us to tutor non-basics to hand, which is very, very powerful. And the other tutor is we run, I believe it's Recruiter of the Guard, and that allows us to get a lot of our both our stacks pieces and quite a few other things. It's pretty good tutor. Next card type we'll talk about is our draw selection, and we basically run one wheel, being Wheel of Fortune, because it's the best wheel we have access to. It's a staple in CDH for a reason. It's really strong, and it's also used in one of our combos. The other forms of draw that we run two permanent forms of draw, and those would be our Esper Sentinel, which is kind of like White's version of Rhystic Study, but really bad, but we're in white, so it's all we get. And Sensei's Divining Top, which unfortunately counts as draw in this deck, and not just a combo piece, because we're in Boros, and Boros can't have good cards. And we run, now we're up to 11 eggs, and pretty much all of them are in here just to draw, with the exception of the Pyretic Spell Bomb is used as a finisher for one of our combos, and the Soul Guide Lantern can be used as a stacks piece. Next we get to our ramp, and we're running quite a few rocks, as you can see. Pretty much these are just like your staple artifact combo deck rocks, nothing too special. We also run both the monoliths because we need mana batteries, also one of them combos in this deck. I might add a combo with the second one, but I'm not sure. Yeah. We run two writs, being Lotus Petal and LED. LED is for a combo, Lotus Petal is because Lotus Petal. And we run 4 ramp sources that I don't know how to categorize. We run basically Smothering Tithe, Dockside Extortionist, our Metal Shaper, and let me see what the final one is. Oh yeah, KCI. And 2 of these cards are combo pieces, KCI and the Smothering Tithe, and the rest are pretty much just here to get us more mana quicker. We run 28 lands. The mana base is not finalized, but it's good enough to start playtesting. And then we have removal. I count control spells as removal. We run pretty much all the good removal in our colors. One of the more questionable ones is I like Lapse of Certainty, and we're in white, so it's kind of our best control. I run all the blue hate because I hate facing blue decks. Then this is more so protection. We have like our Tefrees, a couple redirects, counter spell that only protects our cards, Mother and Giver, because giving protection to our Akiri is really helpful. That's also our main source of evasion. And then we run about 4 pieces of recursion, and these are both our Goblin Engineer and Welder, Aryok Salvager, which is part of a combo, and Underworld Breach, which is another combo piece, but they also can be used like in a pinch for some level of recursion. And then we have 1 board wipe. It's Blasphemous Act because it's 1 mana. We also run 2 stacks pieces. Aven Mind Sensor is just insanely good value, and Green Abolisher is really good at protecting us while we're comboing. So we have 2 WinCon cards that play into the whole Voltron sub-theme type stuff, and it's all the glitters and our Nettle Cyst, and these allow us to just give Akiri a second dose of her static ability. We run Sarah's Ascendant because Sarah's Ascendant can like literally single-handedly win games if you drop it turn 1. And then you'll notice we run an Aetherflux, a Ring, and a Voltaic Key. These are all in the deck purely to combo. They don't serve any other function in the deck. Here you can see all our combos laid out. We have your traditional Basalt Rings combo, and this works by having 5 mana in pool or 2 mana in pool, depending on if our Basalt's tapped or untapped. If it's untapped, we have 2 mana in pool, we tap Basalt to get another 3, and then we put an untap on the stack, spending 3 of the mana, which causes a trigger on our rings, which allows us to pay 2 to copy the effect. So we pay 2, so now we have 2 untaps on stack. So by untapping the Basalt, we can respond to the next untap by tapping it for 3, and then it untaps again, and we tap it again, and now we have 6 mana in pool, whereas we started with 5. So by repeating this step over and over and over again, we get infinite colorless mana, and that's the premise of the Basalt combo. Now, the Voltaic Key with the Basalt combo allows us to activate Voltaic Key and then spend 2 extra mana, so we're spending 3 mana, to put a second Voltaic Key activation on the stack. We can then use that to untap our Voltaic Key, and then we still have the first activation on the stack, which can be untapping anything we want. Mainly we'll be targeting our rocks. We have a pile of rocks up here that are all really good hits, but any rock in the deck will work. And the other main target is with Sensei's Divining Top, because putting it on top is part of the resolution. We can just stack unlimited Voltaic Key activations and then just use Sensei's Divining Top to draw our entire deck, and then put top back as our last card, which also gives us slight mill protection, which is nice in case we whiff. And this allows us to deck ourselves with only 4 cards, which will draw us into one of our other combos, which we can use to deal damage. Our next combo is we run the classic Aryok Salvager loops, which basically Aryok Salvager says for 2 mana you can return an artifact with CMC 1 or less from your graveyard to hand. We choose to return our LED, and by returning LED to our hand, we can then play it and crack it for 3 mana. It takes 2 mana to activate its effect, so this generates us infinite mana. Now with infinite mana and infinite cast of LED, we can play an Aetherflux Reservoir and just gain infinite life off the infinite casts, and then dome everyone for 50. Or, if we've been cycling through our deck, we might have a Pyretic Spellbomb in bin, and we can recur Pyretic Spellbomb using him because it's a 1 CMC card, and then play it and crack it for a damage. And repeat this, 120 times to kill the other 3 players at the table. And our third package that we run is Underworld Breach lines. And these kind of have some overlaps with the other lines we've been talking about. So the main Underworld Breach line is to have Underworld Breach, Wheel, and Smothering Tithe. And that basically lets us deck everyone. And we will draw into well, we've been drawing the least out of everyone at the table because we're Boros, and Boros sucks at drawing. So ideally we just deck everyone and win right there, but as a backup, if someone can't be decked for some reason, like maybe they have a Eldrazi Titan or something, we'll draw into our infinite damage combos and hopefully be able to assemble one of them out of our bin using the Underworld Breach to then just shoot that person to death if they do have an Eldrazi Titan protecting them. The other line is that we can use LED, and because LED's in our bin, right? So you flash back the wheel, discarding 7 cards, and then you have LED in bin. It takes 3 of the 7 you discarded to play LED, and it takes 3 of the 7 you discarded to play wheel. So that's 6 out of the 7 cards you discard every cycle. So this is self-sustaining. The third way we can net enough mana to keep casting our wheel indefinitely is using KCI and a rock that is 0 mana. We can using Underworld Breach and the wheel to feed our graveyard, our KCI will be able to we'll tap the artifact for 1 mana, sacrifice it to KCI, and then put it back into play. Unfortunately, with like the Moxen, for instance, Chrome and Diamond, you do need cards in hand that are viable pitch options for them, but Opal and Amber are much easier to use, and you can technically do this with Soul Ring and Crypt, but you need another colored source somewhere else, so it's not infinite. But if you have like 5 or 6 colored mana on your board, this will get you 5 or 6 loops started, and hopefully in those 35 cards you hit a more consistent enabler. And yeah, those are all our combos. This is my take on Boros Voltron. As you can tell, not my favorite color, but that's not its fault. That's WotC kind of shafting it, not giving it like cards it needs to play, and it just being, I really want to like these colors, I really want to like Voltron, but it needs buffed in EDH. Like, they need to print more shit for this. Yeah, so this is my attempt at making a competitive Voltron first, combo second type deck.